Teacher believed silence was the only way to learn, so I taught her the sound of losing everything. Miss Cameron had one rule that ruled all others: absolute silence. And I don't mean the normal quiet during tests kind of silence. I mean if your stomach growled during her class, you'd get detention for disrupting the learning environment. When Mac's dad died and he came to class with red eyes from crying, she gave him detention for sniffling too loudly. The woman had been teaching English for 20 years and spent every single one of them perfecting her reign of terror. First week of school, this girl Sarah sneezed during silent reading. Miss Cameron made her stand up and write, "I will control my bodily functions," 100 times on the board while we all watched. When Tom's pencil rolled off his desk and hit the floor, she made him hold 2 textbooks above his head for the entire period. His arms were shaking by the end. She had this habit of snatching things off students' desks without warning too. Phones, notes, even someone's sandwich once. But the worst was when Emma had a panic attack during a quiz. The poor girl was hyperventilating, and Miss Cameron actually gave her detention for breathing too loudly and seeking attention. Her favorite line was, "In my classroom you are neither seen nor heard. You exist only to learn." School administration always took her side because 20 years of tenure meant more to them than protecting us students. Everything changed after I got that ear infection in October. It started as a normal cold, but turned into something nasty that damaged my hearing permanently. The doctor prescribed hearing aids, small flesh-colored medical devices that cost $3,000 each. I walked into Miss Cameron's class that Tuesday morning wearing them for the first time, but I barely made it through roll call when she spotted them and lost control. "What the hell are those?" My stomach dropped when I heard her scream. "They're just hearing aids. I have a doctor's note. Enough with the excuses. I know AirPods when I see them." She stormed over before I could explain further. I tried to lean away, but she grabbed my shoulder and yanked the hearing aid out hard. The custom-fitted piece tore my ear canal, and blood started dripping down my neck. The device hit the floor and shattered. $3,000 all gone, destroyed in seconds. I screamed and pressed my hand against my bleeding ear. The whole class gasped. I ran to the nurse's office where she immediately called my parents and an ambulance. While she pressed gauze against my ear, I decided that Miss Cameron had gone too far, and now I was going to destroy her career. My mom arrived at the same time as the paramedics and took me to the ER. The ER doctor documented the torn ear canal and gave us a full medical report with photographs. But that evening I got a text from Mac saying his sister had warned him to record Miss Cameron's classes after what happened when his dad had died. He'd caught the whole thing on video, including my explanation, her ignoring me, the grab, and the blood. My parents saved the video to 3 different clouds and a USB drive. Dad spent the night researching about lawsuits against teachers and school administrations. The next morning, Mac's video was everywhere. It had exploded across our community Facebook groups, and the comment section turned into a support group with parents sharing their own kids' horror stories about Miss Cameron. That's when the principal called my parents with his voice dripping with fake concern. He offered to pay for new hearing aids if we let this unfortunate incident go, and considered the school's reputation. My parents hired a lawyer that same day who specialized in educational abuse cases. 6 months later, we finally got our day in court. Miss Cameron showed up in her best professional outfit, but couldn't hide her nervousness. She kept fidgeting with her papers and whispering to her lawyer. When the judge watched the video the first time, Miss Cameron's face went white. She suddenly stood up and insisted she was just maintaining classroom discipline and protecting the learning environment from distractions. Our lawyer then presented the bombshell, an email from 3 weeks before where the school nurse had notified all teachers about my hearing aids, and Miss Cameron had replied, "Acknowledged." She sputtered that she forgot and couldn't have known they were medical devices, even though I'd tried to tell her. She kept claiming we were too sensitive and that students nowadays can't handle proper discipline. Each testimony made her look more desperate. She actually pointed at me and said I should have spoken up more clearly. The judge had to warn her twice about courtroom behavior. She lost everything: $50,000 in damages, teaching license revoked, and criminal assault charges that would follow her for life. She wanted silence. Now no classroom will ever hear her voice again.